Hey, what's going on, everybody? Collision here. Today we're going to be breaking down the Madden GOAT Twitch streamer named Bentley. If you guys want to go check him out, did a little bit of lab work, not too much the other night with this gentleman, and I wanted to begin a new series where we are breaking down subscriber games, trying to give you guys a little bit of insight, not breaking down absolutely every single play, but after I go back and watch through some plays that I think are worth noting and kind of discussing what I'm seeing to hopefully provide some beneficial feedback to you. So just two quick notes before we get into it. Bentley here in this game is currently running the Jets playbook and I believe the Chiefs defensive playbook. So just keep that in mind. This player, as we were talking in the lab, was mentioning a philosophy that he has when he plays that I kind of share very similar to him. He wanted an offense that has a very deep approach, but he also wants to stay vigilant underneath and kind of base his play around that, but always making sure he has a deep ball in his arsenal. Very much something I agree with, something I talked about a lot, especially at the start of the year, and one of the reasons I love the Jets playbook, kind of one of the main reasons I went to it. So just wanted to keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and begin, get into it. Alrighty guys, so to begin, starting off here in the bunch empty open. Now, Bentley was mentioning how with this offense, he typically will kind of start in the bunch open, and then depending on what the opponent is giving, he'll audible to bunch strong or bunch. Now, I like this approach. It kind of lets us at least know that this player is willing to kind of adjust and basically take what the defense gives him. Now, as we see to start immediately, single high safety playing over the top, typically in a dollar. I am always assuming probably cover three. One thing that is interesting about this opponent is you'll see this free safety. Typically, you will see him in dollar kind of get brought more upfield and then play more so of like a deep zone. That is not the case against this opponent. So I'm going to go ahead and take away these notes and get them off the screen. But what you guys should know when you see this type of look is right now there's currently no type of pinching on the defensive line, which is odd given it is dollar, but it kind of makes sense because it is spread. So you probably should expect more of a contain on your defensive line. Now, you kind of have options here on defense for the short side or the two side of the offense where you might have the slot DB in a man assignment, and then you can have this free safety who's playing low. Really just go into a purple, go anywhere to the sideline, or simply stay on a vertical hook. So in this type of look, really what I would do is just simply come out in one of our cover three beaters. You guys are going to see here in a second, once we go ahead and advance, that Bentley does exactly that. He comes out here and speed dig and he sets up a deep bomb that we made a while back. Now, with this type of approach, with this safety playing underneath, I would go with something like a mesh where we would go ahead and put our slot receiver and our outside bunch receiver on a mesh. That way, you know, they can kind of get away from this kind of oddball safety. We just don't really know where he can be. If he's going to be playing this DB here on the outside, if he's going to be playing in a purple, you know, that would kind of mean that this safety here is going to be playing a vertical hook, and that's just going to be a little tougher to run a hitch as we see Bentley ran here with his slot receiver. So pretty much here we have our tight end going deep. We kind of force it pretty much here on the deep crosser. Now, something like this, what I'd much rather have us done here, because we weren't entirely short of the defense on the first look, is probably just simply throw it away. But also we need to, you know, remember that we have Jalen Hurts. And a set like this, you see, let's kind of focus on the quarterback here. We have a pretty deep drop back. I kind of would have wished that we kind of stayed up in the pocket a little more, and then we can kind of escape and roll out right. Not saying you would have gotten a positive play out of it, but, you know, not dropping back so far, we could have at least maybe rolled out right and threw it away. But listen, first play of the game, mistakes like this will happen. But, you know, first play of the game when we just don't know exactly what we're seeing, let's just go ahead and keep it simple, keep something underneath, and then also try and hit him with that deep bomb approach. You know, something like this, if we had B here on a drag early, we would have been able to pull this user downfield, given that this drag was here, okay? And then we'll kind of have, you know, this type of crosser where this tight end on the streak is kind of occupying this safety, and then obviously our crosser would have gotten open underneath. So just keep that in mind when you're opening up a game, opening up your drive on offense. get used to what this defense is showing. As you see here, both of these guys are playing underneath. Basically, your hitch is double teamed. There's no way that's going to be an option. If this receiver was on a drag, he potentially gets open as well, and you have a little dump off. So just something to keep in mind. You know, if he's playing some type of weak coverage where he had this safety playing up top into a deep half, and this purple is here, this hitch probably would have gotten more open. But yeah, I would just recommend maybe a mesh, and also just kind of keeping up in the pocket. I know it is a little daunting because you are going up against this beast Aaron Donald, but still definitely important just to stay vigilant in the pocket. That's going to help out a lot, especially with your deep bombs. All right, guys, so play 2 here in the breakdown. This is going to be a highlight of the defense. This is right after the turnovers. You see 3rd and 8 here. We've had pretty good defense so far, especially given the field position where the playbook can really be wide open. We're in dollar here. This is something I like. I like this call here, 3rd and 8. Try and dial up some pressure. We're going to go ahead and run this play here. And as you guys see, running an A-gap blitz out of a... Oh man, what do we got here? A little cover 3, kind of, no, probably cover 4 actually, out of a cover 4 set. And what you guys have here is just a little too much commitment to the bunch side with the user when you have a zone defender right here already helping you out. As you guys see, the user here, Reed Blankenship, is committing to the right side of the field, and basically he just kind of overbites, kind of pivots too much, and he's kind of left behind in the middle of the field. Right here, these 2 receivers are already guarded by this zone defender over top of Blankenship, so you can kind of really stay true to your to your zone here in the middle. You don't want to overshoot here, because now obviously you have the drag open right here underneath, and then, you know, the opponent decides to go over the top. And I think right here, if your safety took a better angle in his, you know, disrupting of the catch, you probably would have gotten a breakup. But Cooper Kupp is going to Cooper Kupp, and he's got a good catch over the top. But still, just kind of focus on where your user is positioned. That is the most important thing here in dollar, is actually making sure that you're being vigilant and always hovering with the user. I like your hover here. You're basically letting him know, yeah, I'm sending an A-gap, and you're going to have to pick it up. But we need to make sure that that's staying consistent. You know, don't overshoot. Know what zones you have, you know, because right now, this zone defender over the top right now, he's basically saying, okay, I'll guard these guys here, and I'll go ahead and pass, you know, everybody to you. And then you're kind of taking his job, and then it's like, you know, nobody's in the middle. So there's a little unemployment in the middle. And we got to make sure we have job security. So just keep that in mind. Kind of just make sure you stay true to your zone. Obviously, he didn't hit underneath, so you're okay on that play, but just staying true with the user. Now, right here, this is basically just a cover 2 with the man look on the right side of the field. This isn't really something that I would consider, especially this portion of the field. But you end up having a really good play here, and I liked it a lot. Now, obviously here, the tight end is being manned by the slot corner, and the outside receiver, Puka, is being guarded by Darius Slay. And so that basically means that all responsibility is on you, knowing that that point receiver is absolutely going to be on a corner route. The deep half can't take that responsibility. He's not going to have the right angle, and you play it perfectly. A nice little bait. I really like how you played the seam at the start of the go of the post. I think you did a really good job kind of hovering, making sure you're kind of baiting that you're playing middle, and you have a perfect cut to jump on this read. You really did a good job baiting the quarterback. So again, you know, one thing I actually would like to mention as well is you left this safety on a deep half, which isn't like terrible, but given the man assignments, maybe consider putting him on like a vertical hook, or maybe a middle third, something to kind of just give more support, because you're kind of taking the over the top coverage when you are, you know, going with this corner. So, you know, right here, this deep half is going to your job, and maybe he could have done a little more in a vertical hook, kind of influencing that this receiver doesn't get open, you know, because he's playing in this vicinity. So just keep that in mind. I get that you can't always you know, time the quarterback or the offense. They're obviously going to run their own game, but if you have time, maybe consider at this depth of the field, obviously not, you know, if he's back at the 50, you're going to want some help over the top. But at this area of the field, this deep half isn't really helping you too much, so you can kind of get a little more support here in the middle. I just now found this guy over here playing the middle of the field, so you have that as well. It's a really good play. But yeah, maybe put your safety here on another assignment as well, just to ensure he actually does something that's not your job, you know. if this tight end here was an elite tight end and he was on some type of weird post or something like that, that maybe could have gotten open at this part of the field. So, you know, just keep it in mind. But all in all, this was a great call. I really don't want to try and overcoach it, but I just want you to know you might be able to get some more coverage with this safety at this part of the field if you put him on a different assignment. Really good interception, good play. Way to get it back. Alrighty, now back in the bunch, empty open again. We're seeing that the safety here is playing down yet again, and we're coming out in a basically two-way cover three option. So basically, you have what you have, or what am I saying? Basically, what you have in the slot here is a fade. I think some people might call it a spray route. I know you guys aren't here for the nomenclature, but this fade is going to do a great job paired with this streak on his side. Basically, this streak is going to try and pull this DB as far upfield as he can, and that's going to help get this fade open underneath him. Now, obviously, how I run this offense, I'm looking at Devontae Smith here as my number one. Okay, I'll kind of look, see how that purple's playing. If this purple, let me go ahead and highlight him real quick for you guys. If this player here is in a 5-yard zone drop purple, you're going to be able to throw this fade route to Devontae Smith. If he's not, if he's in a base curl flat, he's going to go ahead and lift up with him because you don't have anything pulling him down, you know, on this side of the field, kind of making these guys go over here. Basically, if he's in that base zone, he's going to follow this streak upfield or this fade upfield. So basically, it's going to take away that option for you. So as we see, we're going to go ahead and play this through. He's in a base, you know, flat here, and this defender goes ahead and takes him. And as you see, he actually manned him up there. Very, very good coverage. Now, immediately we see Bentley looks it off. He looks to his flood side. We have our high. We have our low. Obviously, this zone defender in between them is gravitating more underneath. So we go ahead and take our flood over the top. This is a great play. And honestly, what made this play really shine, obviously looking off this receiver and knowing that that's not an option is great. But also the pocket here was immensely better than what we were showing before. And honestly, I think that's because you know you can't take the safety in this situation. Let me go ahead and remove these little edits. But knowing that you don't have room to back up is really what you need to focus in on just in your mental approach to navigating the pocket. Right here, you didn't drop back 10 yards because you knew you couldn't take the two if something did happen. So really, this is a lot better pocket. You're obviously more patient here and you trusted your play design. And this is exactly how you do it. His user is doing nothing in the middle of the field. You attack this cover three very, very well in this play. So really good play having a cover three beater on both sides of the field. Your first option wasn't there. Your second option was. Really good play. And a good job navigating the pocket, not backing up too far. Alrighty, so now I think we're at play 4. This is now kind of towards the back end of the first quarter. 2nd and 6, the playbook is kind of wide open. Your opponent here decides to go with a double mug. Okay, this is the first time I believe he's called this. Trying to change up his defense a little bit, trying to show you a little bit of pressure. Now, what I love that you do here is you audible down out of the bunch empty open, and you go ahead and basically give this two-way option. I'm going to try and show the play art here that you created. You have this drag here by the tight end, and then basically a wheel. I know it's a streak, but you have this streak wheel on the running back. Now, against pressure, especially against man coverage pressure, this is a great combination because if he is using one of these mugging linebackers, he's going to peel off into coverage, which means you're now going up against potentially a 5-man blitz, given he's not blitzing one of the DBs. Okay, so now everyone is accounted for. That's going to put so much stress on him, as you will see after I play it, where his user has to decide, do I want to go drag or wheel? Right here, he's committing to the tight end at this point because his feet are cutting back. He's chopping to the left side of the field. We go ahead, play it. Your running back's wide open. He hesitates. He goes back to the running back. It's obviously too late. You go ahead and hit your running back. This is a great play design against a heavy blitz. I love that you audible to it. This was a great play. Probably your best play of the game. You really had good ones. I love this one, especially against the potential pressure. One thing I would also like to mention is this streak against the purple on its default zone drop drop, so it's just a curl flat. If this was intentional to pull this zone defender upfield as well, this is magical. It's a really good play because as you see here, because this tight end drag is coming from the far side of the field, once we snap this purple is gravitating upfield already because of the streak. So that means if this user peels off again, you're going to have your tight end open late in the play. Obviously, you hit the wide open receiver. This throw to the running back is magical. But if that wasn't an option, if this user was playing the running back sooner, just know you have all this real estate here on this left side of the field to go ahead and get your easy first down because you already have this DB going upfield with the go route. So really good play here. Like it a lot. This is an amazing call. Alrighty guys, so next play here, we see that the defense is again back in dollar and he's audibling down. Now, one thing that we see differently on this play design that's different than the others is he's backing off this slot DB. Now, during game, this could be hard to see. You might have the fog of war at play where you might kind of disregard this. It doesn't really look too different. But what we need to know now is that with this defender backed off, we know because he's manually backed off, he's typically not going to be in that blitz assignment, if you ask me, because the user or your opponent has intentionally backed him off, getting him further away from the quarterback. Probably means he's going to drop back into coverage. So what we have here is a potential purple at this side of the field. I know that's yellow, but just a purple curl flat, or he's going to be dropping back into the middle of the field. With that in mind, we know that these two defenders here could be the screamers, okay? It's 2nd and 10, okay? He might want to try and get you into a 3rd and long situation. So what I would do here, I like the flood call because this guy really hasn't changed his cover 3 defense. But what I would have liked to seen here is maybe go ahead and audible back to bunch and have the running back here on the weak side, because if you have two guys pushing and blitzing from this angle, you're going to get overpowered with this blitzing defender as well. Your running back could help you here. Again, stay with the flood. I like the double corner route call, but maybe if you audible back to bunch instead of the C route here by Devontae Smith, you could have put him on a backside dig to help keep the user, in the middle of the field to help you get your attack on the sideline, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and remove these elements. We're going to go ahead and run this. As you guys see, single high safety, most likely going to be cover 3 again. He actually removes the middle 3rd defender and puts him in a vertical hook. I don't like this at all because it's nothing but stress on his user again, so where he's going to have to manually cover a corner and a streak. This is not good zone play by your opponent. But if you did motion back to a bunch, you would have been able to pick up this highlighted blitzer. Now you're going to go ahead and throw the ball away. What it looked like, somehow you throw a dot. That's not me hating. Just typically you don't see that throw getting caught. That's an insane play. But also your tight end is open down the field. Obviously, I know you can't hit that. You're getting screamed at. But if you audibled back to bunch and he stayed in this blitz look, you would have been able to pick up this pressure. Your running back isn't an option either. And then, you would have had your corner or your streak depending on where this user was going. So, again, just knowing, kind of reading those slot corners, it's very important in dollar to really focus in on your slot DBs or your opponent's slot DBs rather, and see where they're getting backed off, what that means for you and their coverage and blitzing approaches. So right here, an audible back to bunch with the block running back could have maybe gotten you a touchdown here, but still really good play. At least you were able to get the ball off. I like that you freeformed out to the sideline, basically where either you're going to catch it or nobody's going to catch it. That's great. I love that. I do it all the time. Luckily, and fortunately enough, you were able to come down with it, which is wonderful. So good play. So up next, what we have here is spinner being called. Now, typically, whenever I run spinner, what I'm always going to have here is on this lone side, I'm going to go ahead and put my corner in a deep zone. Okay, we're typically going to put him in an outside third. A lot of people like to do that. What we see Bentley do here on this adjustment is instead, he puts his free safety here on a deep half. Okay. You'll see that soon as he highlights it. It shows his play art. This is not bad. This isn't exactly how I would run the blitz, but still, it's not terrible. It's 1st and 10. Your opponent's probably not going to expect it. As you see, he motioned out, so he probably knows it could be man coverage here on the right side. The only thing I dislike about this play at this point, and you'll see it post snap, is how the user pivots. One thing, again, I don't like is right here, your user, if you're in dollar man, you got to stay hovering some way or another to let the opponent always see the same tell. We're kind of right above the nose tackle. That doesn't really help us really, it kind of helps the opponent as well on offense. So I would really always stick to some type of hover just to show that same A gap, even if you're pinching your D line or not. Listen, in spinner, I don't always pinch my defensive line either. I know some people commit to it. I think it's good still without it, so I don't blame you for that. But still, we always want to show the same tells over and over and over. It's going to be the best way we can easily beat up opponents' offenses. Now, we're going to go ahead and run this play here. And as you guys see, we go ahead and take an outside approach. I've noticed, Bentley, this has been a tendency where you like to go out and play the bunch side. I do too. I like that a lot. But we're over biting. And that's really putting us at a disadvantage, because right now what you're doing here is you're basically giving all the leverage here to this point receiver. Disregard the little highlighter, but basically what we need to know here is if this point receiver decides to go outside on an outbreaking route, we have our safety here playing over the top, and he'll be able to cover that. What can't our safety right here cover? He can't cover the inside on a quick in-breaking route. We see that every other receiver is currently assigned to in man coverage. So we need to keep our user in the middle of the field, because that's going to be his number one read once he realizes that pressure's coming. So right here, we go ahead and kind of over jump the bunch. He sees this defensive end here, or this blitzing corner is absolutely screaming. So what does he do? He literally just spams his number one receiver right at your user. This could have been an animation, okay? You had good recovery to it, but still, if you kind of just positioned yourself in the middle of the field, this wouldn't have been a problem for you. Luckily, your safety's there to make a play on the ball, but still, just a little note, We just don't want to overshoot that bunch side, because every single time we do it, we already have our players in position to help us on the outside. So we just got to stay on the inside and do our job. And your job against an all-out blitz like this is to take away the number one receiver. And I mean that as in the number one option that the quarterback's looking at. All right, right here, we have a trips tight end set here. You're not hovering. You have pinch, but you're not hovering. 1st and 10. What do a lot of offenses do on 1st and 10? They run the ball. Okay, so right now we're not in a position where we can even gap shoot. You're not going to gap shoot this, because once you see right here, even the offense sees you're not in a gap shoot position. So your opponent already audibles to trips tight end because he wants to go to inside zone here, or an RPO. All right, boom, we're out of position. There's a handoff. We're now still a statue right here. No disrespect to you, brother. No disrespect to you. But we are basically statued once we snap it. Now look, if you were in a gap shoot position, this is probably why he's already cutting back, because he has literally a wide open lane all over this side. He has this or the right, and then basically, because you were probably anticipating RPO due to the handoff, you start gravitating to the left. So now, since you've gravitated to the left with your user, now he can go upfield or he can go outside here. And I think a lot of this could have been prevented if you simply hovered over the right defensive end and kind of played that more aggressive looking dollar. You probably could have gotten him to throw on 1st down. But as you see here, he has terrible stick work. He jukes right into Darius Slay instead of juking upfield. Still a good tackle by Slay. But, this is what I mean. If we just really focus on our user positioning, you will immediately have a better defensive approach, and you're gonna make the offense really think about it. I also would probably blitz your user just for more run support. So just keep that in mind, man, because even if he did throw it, you're only sending 3. You're not going to get any pressure. Okay. We need to remember that our user needs to be kind of basically hovering at all times. Keep him blitzed when you're only sending 3. I know that when you blitz, you sometimes take away the chance of getting a pick animation, but if you're sending 3, you gotta blitz your user, or else your opponent's gonna have all day in the pocket to throw. So make sure you are always hovering in the dollar, and when you're sending 3, you're blitzing your user. All right, guys, so up next, what we have here is a 3rd and 2, okay? So this is kind of a down where we could see maybe, if they're more a sim type player, maybe a play action, okay? Could still see a run here, obviously under center, basically in a single back deuce close. I know there's another receiver out there, but the playbook's kind of open. We could see bench. A lot of people will run bench. Could see something like wham or a stretch. Now, with this in mind, I want to talk about the play call here, okay? What we have here is DB blitz 0 called. All right. Luckily, we do pinch our line. No, we don't pinch our line. Okay. I would have pinched the line there. But also, I want to mention basically doing hybrid blitzing, where if we were, for example, to come out here in our DB blitz 0. Okay, so we have these pass rush angles here, have it here, and then obviously your defensive line, right? Depending on the play call, if you have a deep post on offense, an out route, our corners are already backed off. They're at a disadvantage, okay? Now, what I would recommend, this is how I like to personally run my all-out blitzes, is I like to come out in a cover 2 defense, all right? So we're going to have this guy here in a flat, this defender here in a flat, and then we're going to go ahead and have our deep zones over the top, okay? So just a cover 2. It's going to be a hard flat, especially because it's 3rd and short. And then, like we were saying earlier, we want to take our user and take away the number 1 option, okay? So basically what's really nice about hard flats is they take away the first option on the outside immediately. So now that leaves us basically in the seams, all right? So that's kind of going to be based on what your opponent likes to throw, but you need to understand which seam you want to cover. And then obviously anything over the top is going to be covered by your deep halves, okay? Cover 2 could be a really solid base blitz defense, even if you have no help in the middle, as long as you mix it in. You can really get a lot of pressure out of this, and basically you're covering all points of interest for the offense, all right? So we're going to go ahead and run this through. I'm going to go ahead and delete these elements, and you guys are going to go ahead and see here. Wish we could have gotten the pinch D-line off. He runs a flat, a little flat route, or a little out-breaking flat route to the running back. Our hard flat would have covered this, and I know you ran man. I'm not trying to, you know, call you dog shit, nothing like that. But basically what I'm trying to say is that cover 2 would have been really solid for this, because we see there's a deep corner out here. That probably, you know, maybe it gets open, but that would have at least, you know, with your pressure coming, kind of influenced the quarterback to look more underneath, because he's getting literally screamed at. So, you know, consider maybe mixing in cover 2 hard flat when you're sending 6, and just take away the number 1 option. You see here, he gets a really good play, but luckily you're able to go ahead and get a tackle. He only has 1 timeout. You hold him to a field goal. Really good way to recover from that play and start the half. Now we're in another similar situation here, 3rd and 1. He's going to go with the run play here. You see we have a 2 tight end set. Okay, he's probably going to try and go up the gut or take it to the outside. All right, so up the gut or outside. It's a 2-way option basically. Now as you see, your user here is perfect user. Go ahead, commit, man. Sometimes you can legit just commit. If you're not even getting blocked, bro, just send it. Because if it's a run, you got him. If it's a play action, you got him. So just commit, brother. Right here, you kind of step back, which is completely normal. Everybody does this. I do this too. It's not every day you have a wide open lane, okay? It's hard to do that, I understand. But what's great about your user placement here is you have this pulling tight end, and you're taking him, whether you know it or not. Obviously, you probably don't know it while you're playing in game, but now you have this guy getting free, you have Fletcher Cox doing Fletcher Cox things, and then you are pulling the tight end completely out of the play to even pick up either one of these guys. So great user there, making it a 4th and 4. Probably, you know, I think he ends up punting it there, and you have a great return, but still, really, really good play here. Good user. I like it a lot. You really took away the tight end blocking to really save him. I mean, listen, what's crazy is if he were to somehow be able to get a jukebox left, yeah, there's no shot. But just saying, your user took away the tight end. I like it a lot. Great play here. And shout out to the D-line getting their sheds in. Now right here, this is going to be extremely important. I want to try and drive this in to everyone here. Because that's the thing, we're all guilty of this. This is a simple flood drive call that I think you audible to halfback, like wheel mesh or something like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and reset this one more time just so we can see. Yeah, so you audible to a little mesh wheel, okay? This is a kind of quick play, in my opinion, all right? He's back in the double mug. What we have here, as you're going to see, is right here, we're dropping back so far. Look how far we're dropping back. We just made a drag, a 15-yard throw. I know I kind of sound like an ass, but this is where I want to make it so important, okay? Go ahead and watch here, the defensive end right here. I think this is Hoach. I can't remember his name. Look at the angle he takes. You're dropping back. Watch 97 right here. You're dropping back. He's running in a straight line. He's running in a straight line still. If you step back any more to the left, you would have gotten sacked. He is literally right on you, brother. And luckily, Malata, I think this is who this guy is, picks him up for you. But if you kind of teetered anywhere to the left side, Hoach would have been able to get the crazy unnecessary pressure on you, which he really was. That's why I think you kept dropping back, because you're like, this guy is tracking me down, but it's because you let him. And I understand it's easy to drop back in a double mug set, but like we saw earlier, he's not going to commit on the 6 pressure. He wusses out. And then you can kind of stay in the pocket. And then listen, every single time you stay in the pocket, you are then able to roll out and use your legs better than just dropping back, 15 yards and then trying to roll out. You're going to get too tired. And what we also need to know is when we are dropping back this far for a drag, our offense is slower, because that's more time the ball is in the air. It's more time that the defense gets to recover. If you just simply stayed in the pocket here, you can go and throw a nice little laser. Maybe, potentially, I'll go ahead and skip back here just so we see it. Let's go ahead and look at number 6, right here, and then maybe cut up field. Who knows? I mean, this user, he had a pretty good job cutting back. I mean, maybe the 15-yard drop back kind of saved you, because he was able to throw it to this part of the field. Again, I'm not trying to drill you or be an ass. I just want you to pick up on some things and see it, just so we can get better. Now, right here, we have a great call. Just a simple halfback wham out of single back deuce close. This isn't, I don't think you spammed wham. That's funny, but I don't think you spammed it. But one thing I would like to note to everybody is, if you are a single back deuce close player, when I see this insert tight end right here, I'm gonna go ahead and highlight them. Once I see this step, I'm run committing every single time, especially when you're in single back deuce close, because I know, okay, it's wham. Everybody's coming down now. He didn't do it. I don't think this is a run commit. Maybe it is. I know run commits are a little worse this year, but just keep this in mind. You can only really call wham once or twice a game, depending on your opponent. If you guys are playing against kind of weaker players, I'm not saying this is a weaker opponent, maybe you can get away with it, but top end players are going to catch on immediately. I can't remember the last time I didn't run commit wham, because it's always obvious. It's always obvious it's coming. The insert tight end is a dead giveaway, and you really have an entire second and a half where you can run commit. I'll go play it. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, boom. I have so much time to run commit. Hey, great sticks, great way to score, really, really good. But just know, wham isn't a bad call there. It's just keep in mind, you can't really keep calling that play. Not saying you did either. I just want it to be known how it can end up being a dangerous run for you. But good score nonetheless. Good score, good drive. So now we're up 14-10. Now right here, this is yet again, where our users in La La Land, respectfully, because I want to see you win, man. I like watching you play. I actually think you're fun to watch. But right here, it's like, we're not hovering. We're only sending 3. We're not pinching. We're not giving the same look. I mean, this guy's just going to call verticals here. And this is a thing me and Bentley were talking about. I hope I can call you Bentley. I hope that's all right, because it's your Twitch name. I do apologize if not so. But this is what we were talking about, where for the first time this game, what do we see? We see a 5 wide. Now, this is my approach and philosophy to defending 5 wide. If somebody comes out in 5 wide for the first time, I am assuming this is going to be a deep approach, and we got to start playing off a little bit. Not saying we can't send pressure, but we got to be aware for the deep throw. What you guys are going to see here is we have right here, we have our zone player. Oh, I'm clicking the wrong button. We have a zone player and a zone player here. Right now, we should have a pinch line and hovering. If we're only sending 3, we got to blitz our user. And what you guys are going to find here is we have our slot corner right here. Once we snap the ball, he's dropping back into a 25-yard vertical hook. And we have this safety here, what I'm assuming is dropping down into a 5-yard purple. So basically, you guys are going to see here, we have this young gentleman who's upfield, running downfield. We have this young gentleman who's downfield, running upfield. If we just swap their zones, they're both already in position. So if we had him on the purple, we had this guy on the purple, he's already there. We had him on the 25-yard vert hook, he's already there. I'll go ahead and remove these elements. And you guys see, we're playing catch up. He's going to get open wide over the top because he's just not in position. So just something to keep in mind. What you could have done if you really wanted to keep that free safety on the purple for some reason, which, listen, if that's your defense, that's perfectly fine. We're just going to want to go ahead and manually back this guy off with our quick adjustment. Okay, that way this guy's kind of already backed off a little more in position to help guard this tight end vertical. He's not going to be able to catch up with the go route when he's backpedaling like this. So just keep this in mind. I mean, listen, with the zone drops being there, your approach is right, because you know, okay, I have my zone drop there to guard that go route. So now you just need to know to back them off so they're already in better position and then they'll backpedal, or to simply change it up. But listen, I see your vision. I love your vision. You did a great job covering the Y shake here in the middle of the field, because this is just verticals Y shake. Users in prime position post snap. I like the coverage there in the middle. We just got to kind of correct how we're utilizing these zones on the tight end side. But overall, I do see your vision. It's almost there. It's almost there. And again, like we were saying, with the vision being there, I wanted you guys to see this call right here. We go ahead and call a double Mabel. We have our purple underneath, our 25 dropping back, our deep half, and then we have a cover 2 on the right side. Okay. Look at this coverage. This is perfect. Now, he's running a double cross here where he's got a crosser route by Cooper Kupp and he's got a crosser route by the tight end. Luckily, Bentley here, he's a genius. He puts his vertical hooks at 25. Look how good this individual is dropping back, guarding the crosser. I guarantee you, Dave Lamar, his opponent here on the top right, has never seen a 25-yard zone drop back like this. Because Dave Lamar is always thinking, all right, I got a 1-2 option between Kupp and oh gosh, I can't remember the guy's name. I think it's with an H. But anyway, yeah, Tyler Higbee. He has a 1-2 option, because typically this vertical hook's just going to play under. Right here, coverage is perfect, man. The Mabel underneath is guarding him. The flat and the safety are playing the number 1 receiver up top. And then you have your vertical here playing Higbee. And depending on when this ball gets thrown, you're going to have your flat there to make a play as well. User's in great position where you can simply, I mean, yeah, you're all over this guy as well. So good job with the user. This is great coverage. We gotta call out good coverage when we see it. We got to call it out when it's not there, when it's poor. So I like to play call a lot. Right here, 2nd and 7. Let's see what we got here. All right, so right here we have a man alignment. This is a new look, okay? We basically have man alignment here on the right side of the field. It could be man, could not be. We just don't know. He could have simply just did it in the coaching adjustment, or he's actually playing a little bit of man coverage. With this type of look, again, you could maybe see pressure here from the left side slot and then a man assignment here from the safety, okay? With this type of look, okay, because I don't know what the opponent's running, I would try and run some routes where I know the user will not be, and I'm going to focus in on my number 1 option and my number 2. Once we snap the ball, this is probably going to be the worst advice. Nobody will ever tell you this. I'm looking at the offensive line to see how many are getting sent, okay? Like I said, I know that's not traditional. Probably, I don't know. But once we see the pressure, if we know, okay, they're sending 4, they're sending 5, now I got these routes, okay? Because we just don't know, all right? We don't know what's going on here on defense. This is a completely new look in the 4th quarter, so we got to be careful. This is still a 1-possession game here. So right here, I'm going to try and get some routes. This is just me talking. Me personally, I'm going to try and get some routes away from the user. Like right here, this is why I mention it. We have a crosser, a late end route, and a little stop route in the middle of the field. Gentlemen, if this is his user, the Mike, he can sit in the middle. He can literally leak to the bunch and then play middle, okay? And he'll be able to guard all 3 routes. And then he'll just be able to pass up what's left over to his zone players if he has zone players. So we go ahead and snap it here. And we also have to remember as well, real quick, if we have a stop route here in the middle of the field, we're not going to really be able to step up in the pocket and scramble upfield, okay? Because they'll probably have coverage there to guard this little B receiver. Right here, we have a little misread. We thought we could have had an out. That was the number 1. I mean, listen, I like it. I like it if there's pressure. I think that's an okay read. But that's the thing. We just don't know. And listen, I also understand this. Up top, you only got 9 seconds. There's pressure here. I honestly, if you just don't know, man, listen, it's 3 minutes in the 4th. Call a timeout. Call a timeout. Because if you get 7 here, relatively speaking, it's ball game. You won, right? And even if you get 3, at least you didn't throw a pick, or like right here, this maybe could have been a pick depending on how he played his zones. But you know, I don't appreciate the call, having all these guys going into the user's direction. And then also, you know, if you did read the D-line first and you kind of see, man, because this read that you're throwing, you had to be assuming he's sending pressure to throw such a quick snap like that when he's covered. So I would assume you probably thought there's pressure coming, which is very reasonable given it was a new look. But you know, like we were saying, if you saw right here that it was only 4 guys rushing, I mean, obviously I know Aaron Donald is here. That makes it a lot harder. But if you stayed in the pocket, if this guy actually got picked up, you could have gone just like that and slid and got your first down. You know what I mean? So obviously I know it's easy for me to say that as I'm watching it. I want you to understand that I do see your train of thought, and I don't exactly disagree with it. I get it. I just think that we can change up a little bit to help give you a little more breathing room and a better shot once your opponents start giving us different looks this late in the game when we're trying to see something and find something that we're used to. Okay, right here, 1st and 10. Double mug again by the opponent. I kind of assumed maybe he would be using the safety here since he manually brought him down. I don't know if he accidentally clicked on or messed up. He still stayed on the linebacker. He didn't turn off. He tries to get it. Good job cutting left. Shout out to AJ Brown's a great block. This is a great score to go up another 7. Just good stick work. Very, very simple. You didn't try and make it super sexy. Just bounce outside. This is a great run. This is going to just be great for the mentals to go ahead and get a stop, and it stresses the opponent out a lot. So wanted to show you guys the run. It's a good play here out of tight doubles. Now right here, obviously you guys see our opponent's gotten down the field, right? But this is what I want to talk about here. One thing I mentioned one thing I saw as I was editing this is right here in the audibles, okay? The Rams right now, Mr. Dave Lamar is in a 2-minute drill. He's got all 3 timeouts. He wants to get down the field and then try and get a stop on you to try and, tie this game up or win it. If we look at our adjustments here, we have DB fire and a cover 3 seam. What do these guys have in common if you have zone drops on? They have no seam support. I know this says seam. I don't care, dude. I don't care. 4 verticals is going to be able to beat DB fire. It's also going to be able to beat overload 3. Okay. I would highly recommend, if you guys are struggling on defense right now, when you get to the red zone right here, okay, once you get to this hot zone, put cover 2 drop in your audibles, and then just play cover 2. A lot of guys struggle against it. Make sure you're blitzing your user. Just play cover 2. That's all. You're going to have so many guys in coverage, especially with your user. And listen, if they start getting up here close, you just play cover 2 hard flat, and then just watch for any type of backside crosser that gets above the hard flat. Right here, we just have 2 defenses that have kind of been our main defense, and we're extremely vulnerable. We're going to go ahead and play this. 2-minute drill, so you got to think he's got to play vertical. Boom, lasers it into the seam. Puka Nacua gets the good animation, rolls in. So listen, I get it. I mean, a 2-minute drill for them is also a 2-minute drill for us. We got to play fast just like they're playing fast. But them as an offense, they're going to have a better approach immediately. So we just need to kind of have that safe play, like cover 2 drop, which is going to cover the seam, especially if we left our zone drops on, because we're not going to have to cover this tight end, because this guy's going to backpedal into that coverage. This individual here is going to go ahead and drop back into that coverage. This linebacker here is going to drop back into that 25-yard zone drop coverage. We have all the seams covered. I mean, if he wants to go and maybe quick snap throw it and get 2 yards, maybe. I mean, I don't agree with that call, but we gotta stay in position and just know his approach. He's going to go all out here and try and just get the little quick throw in. So, like I said, I don't want to, beat a dead horse, but we got to keep good audibles in position. Right now we have DB fire, spinner, overload 3, and I think cover 4. We need something to protect the seams, and also something that's actually going to give us some coverage rather than an all-out blitz, especially in a 2-minute drill. There was a little post commentary too. As I was editing this, I did see that the user kind of goes down into the underneath. Guys, just remember to stay up top in this situation. If they want to dump it off to a drag, let them. All right, guys, finally here, 3rd and 11, 56 seconds on the clock. 1 timeout has been ran. Basically, ball game if we get this first. Now, this is another crazy look, something we haven't seen. One thing I want to instill into everybody here, because this is one thing. Not everyone overthinks in Madden, but a lot of people who want to win and get good and get competitive in this game will begin to overthink. Right here, Mr. Dave Lamar is showing us something different. He's still in cover 3. And Bentley here on offense does a great job saying, you know what? You've been showing me cover 3 all game, dude. I'm just going to run flood. I'm going to get my easy cover 3 beater and get my first down and just walk out of here with a W. I don't think a lot of people are going to do this. I don't think a lot of people are going to say, you know what? He's been running it all game. I'm just going to do what worked, and we're just going to have it sealed in here. Bunch strong, little flood action. Be wide open against the purple. First down, it's ball game, man. Listen, this was a great play call. Again, like I was saying, as I accidentally skipped all the way to the beginning, but like I was saying, you might want to consider at times maybe audibling to the bunch, because if they sent pressure off this side, I mean, that's just a lot on you, man. That's a lot on you. Granted, I know you are throwing away from it, so that gives you a little more breathing room. But you know, you might want to consider going back here with the running back blocking for you, and then go ahead and have your backside dig, because you know, if he is blitzing these two guys, you're going to have this nice weak point here in the middle of the field. Okay, and then that user is probably going to be playing this bunch side just like he has been. So I appreciate that you stayed true with running your routes to beat his coverage that he ran consistently, but you can still do the same and offer yourself a little more protection if you go back to bunch there and help your running back get on that side of the field. But obviously, as you guys are going to see, he doesn't really blitz. Let's see what, yeah, he sends 3 or sends 4. And somebody had a terrible angle, but still, listen, it's a great play call, man. Congratulations on the win in the CFM. Great game, man. Obviously, we have a lot to improve on the defensive side, but I really think a lot of the stress is coming from your user. I know we talked about that your defense might be struggling a little bit. I honestly think that's okay if you correct your user positioning, because you're going to get a lot more turnovers if you kind of just more play your job. I know you like to do a lot of adjustments to help keep that bunch side on lock. That's good. That's really good. But the thing is you're trying to get too involved in that side yourself. So just trust your adjustments, man. I know sometimes you're going to get cheated. You're going to have a drop pick or a dumb catch on you, whatever. It's Madden. But listen, overall, this is still really good. I hope you found this beneficial in any way. I'd like to do a few more of these. If this was rough, guys, I apologize. It's my first time doing it, but I really enjoyed it. Hope you guys found it educational and informative. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Hope you guys enjoyed episode 1 here of Analyze, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Appreciate your time, fellas. Peace.